Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to a new live episode of our daily program, The Daily Debate. I'm Dr. Yasmin Bakir. I'll be joining you in for the next hour live on air, where we have the top stories that are heading the news here in Egypt, and of course the main core segment of discussion with our prominent guests in the studio. Now, today particularly, we're going to be talking about the U.S.-Egyptian strategic cooperation. And of course, when we speak about Egypt, we're talking about a leading country in the Middle East, and we're talking about a very strong partner that has for all times been on common grounds on many issues, particularly that concerning combating terrorism. So we have a lot of stops that we're going to be focusing on today. We are going to take a different analytical perspective from our guests, so where they see the U.S.-Egyptian cooperation going or heading, especially that on various occasions the U.S. President Donald Trump had praised the Egyptian role in the region, had praised the Egyptian role in combating terrorism, and maybe terrorism is the key word here that we are going to be focusing on. We of course do know that in the past couple of days there was the U.S. head of the Central Command's visit to Egypt, and how he stressed on the joint cooperation between the U.S. and Egypt, especially in the military field. There is the Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry, who is currently on a visit to Washington, holding a number of meetings in preparation for the awaited visit by the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the United States in the next coming days. So we have a variety of issues that we have to discuss concerning the U.S.-Egyptian strategic cooperation. But do allow me to start telling you about what is topping the news stories in Egypt. We have the improving Egyptian ranking on the World Bank Business Report. And of course, that is some positive news here concerning the Egyptian economic status. The Minister of Investment and International Cooperation, Sahar Nasr, held a meeting today with the coordinating ministerial committee to improve the ranking of Egypt in the annual Doing Business report issued by the World Bank. The meeting was attended by several ministers and representatives of a number of ministries and national agencies. And Egypt seeks to improve its economy through a package of economic measures, as well as bids to attract the foreign investors. Joining us over the phone to shed more light on the importance of this meeting and possibly tell us where does the Egyptian economy lie today is Dr. Bassant Fahmy. He's a member of parliament. She's also an economist. Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you, madam.
This meeting is definitely significant and important, and for a person with a very vast experience in economy like yourself and a member of parliament, how do you see or read this visit and its timing?
As we all see, Egypt is making a lot of activities, starting from the president of the republic up to the prime minister, the ministers. They will be meeting, or they will be having 4 major meetings. The first one, which is very important, is the meeting with the United States. It is being prepared for now. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs is there to prepare for that trip. This is a very important trip because it will conclude, or at least it will show us the road, where are we going together with the United States in the field of cooperation, economic, social, political, and so on. So this is a very crucial and important visit. So preparation is being done for that. Second, the meeting with Germany. The Chancellor is visiting us, and this is a very important meeting as well. Preparation is taking place for what would it be on the political, again, economic and other era. They will be inaugurating 2 major plants for energy, 2 new energy plants in Egypt, established by Siemens. So I think this is the second most important one. The third one will be for the Prime Minister of England, which is coming as well in a few weeks, the visit of the IMF. So as you see, Egypt's economy now is on if you like, under all the microscopes of the world.
Yes,
we
Dr.
are all working very hard.
Definitely. Dr. Basant, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. We do understand, of course, how important and vital these visits are, and how maybe possibly on the long run it would echo to the Egyptian economy. If I would go back again to the improving of the ranking of Egypt in the annual business report, you know, the individual citizen is very much concerned with when will prices stop fluctuating, stop increasing, and when will he start affording his, you know, basic living needs and goods. So with such report being improving, we do know it's good for the Egyptian economy, but how will the citizen benefit or, you know, take advantage of this improvement?
No, I think that we should explain clearly to the Egyptian citizen that we are on the right road, but this road will take a bit of a time, at least a year to year and a half.
Yes.
But without those improvements in the ranking, you can go nowhere. We need to promote investments. I'm just coming from a very large meeting with African colleagues. You see, we want to promote investment between the African countries. We want to promote with the US, with Europe. After the promotion of those investments, then the Egyptian, the individual, the citizen would start feeling the effort exerted in that side. But I always say we need to explain to everybody that the situation needs a lot of work, but we are on the right road. We are improving, as you just mentioned, on our international ranking. All the ministry, the cabinet, the parliament are exerting huge efforts to pass this critical period. The reason I mentioned the 4 meetings or the 4, I don't want to say major point of meetings with those countries is that it will be really affecting our future, because if we succeed to complete, for instance, the investment law,
yes,
to complete, to convince everybody that we are exerting a lot of effort to promote the business environment. And when you talk about the US, Germany, England, and others, those are mostly the largest part of the world's economy.
Yes, definitely.
So
definitely.
yes, we are improving, we are on the right road, but what is I always care for is that it is not explained to the people, to the modest person, clearly.
Dr. Basant Fahmy, Member of Parliament and an economist, we'd like to thank you very much for your fruitful information and for participating with us in the show. Now, our second top story for this evening, of course, and as you've known, we've been doing live coverages during the past 2 days on Al-Azhar, who had launched the Freedom and Citizenship Conference. Egypt's Al-Azhar launched in Cairo a conference. It was under the title of Freedom and Citizenship, with the participation of delegations from 50 countries alongside Al-Azhar scholars. The conference invited Pope Tawadros II, Pope of the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, and the bishops of the Eastern and Oriental Orthodox churches, and many thinkers and scholars from all over the world and all over the academic spectrum. Before we start off with the topic of today, which is the U.S.-Egyptian strategic cooperation, where does it lie now and where is it heading in the near future? We do have a report about Egypt, which had lowered its customs dollar again to 15.75 Egyptian pounds. Now, this new rate reflects the recent leap of the Egyptian pound's value against the greenback, and that is according to French the finance minister of Egypt, rather. And Egypt's finance ministry did also lower the custom dollar for the second time this month to reach to that exchange rate, which is at the current status 15.75 Egyptian pounds. Let's take a look at this report, and we'll be starting off our segment right after this.
The new rate reflects the recent leap in the Egyptian pound's value against the greenback, says Finance Minister Amr al-Garhi. Egypt's finance minister lowered the customs dollar for the second time in a month to reach an exchange rate of 15.75 Egyptian pounds from 16 in February, effective of March 1st until mid-March. The official exchange rate of the Egyptian pound against the dollar started to decline from 18.5 in January to currently register an average of 15.7 the past week, according to three major banks in Egypt. Finance Minister Amr al-Garhi said the new rates reflects the recent leap in Egyptian pound value against the greenback. It's worth noting that the parallel black market, the exchange rate of the dollar, stands at 17 pounds. The rate of customs dollar is revised every 15 days. The Central Bank of Egypt freely floated the pound in early November as part of a set of economic reform programs to develop Egypt's economy. In February, the Central Bank of Egypt said the country's foreign reserves reached $26.3 billion at the end of January 2017, up from $24.2 billion in December 2016. The increase in foreign reserves came as Egypt received a total of $4 billion in yields in the Eurobonds issued on global bond markets, in addition to the first tranche of a loan from the International Monetary Fund worth $2.75 billion, part of a $12 billion financing package.